the no change, but is there anything in between freeway or no change?
A big thing that we can do is have more jobs right here in Oceanside, so you don't need to take the freeway to get to your job. That's a big part of it. I ride my bike to work, so I don't have to take the freeway. That's a great way to start moving forward, and that's that cultural change that we probably need.
Green jobs.
Did you have something to add?
I'm told, I'm not an environmental lawyer, I'm not any sort of lawyer, I'm a physicist, but what I am told is the environmental impact report always has to include the no-build option, and that was sort of mentioned in the draft ER, but not terribly extensively, and once you get to the hearings, they just go to the 4 options. So, yeah, that should be looked at. I still think that's possible. As I said at the hearing they had at Sandag in Encinitas, we are so far behind. This community, going back 100 years, did not grow up along rail or transit corridors like New York, Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, St. Louis did. They left that part out. There were trolleys. We killed them. So now we're just sort of all spread out. We're trying to figure out a way to put a mass transit grid on top of a diffuse population. There's no easy way to do it. But I think we still have to try.
Okay, so we've
Where do I get the sound measuring device?
we've promised some time to Bob Iger here, so I think we're gonna wrap up the questions. I know people have continuing questions. I don't know if you guys
I'll
will
be happy to
available.
stay after the presentation.
And if anybody is interested in any of the documents or things that we've discussed tonight, if I don't have your email address, if you don't get like a notice for this meeting, make sure you write your email address down in the back, and I'll send out a note that summarizes what we talked about and has a link to all these things that we've been looking at tonight.
Well, if you have more questions for Esther, our deputy mayor, or me, or anything, you can always reach out to us. On the city council website, ci.ca.us.
Yeah, I'll put that
You
email.
can talk to Mindy, everybody. You can get my contact information if you have any questions for that.
Okay, Bob?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, and I appreciate everybody sticking through. I know this was a lot of information. Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Please. You're going to learn something cultural now. First and foremost, while I get this thing set up, I'm a member of the League-of-American-Wheelmen. The League-of-American-Wheelmen were founded in 1880. 1880, that's before there was a car. There was 100,000 of us in 1898. We pioneered the roads of America, thinking that bicycles were going to be the mode of transportation. Unfortunately, in 1893, at the Chicago Symposium Exposition, people started talking about horseless carriages. And there was a great fight across America. Should horseless carriages be allowed into the city? We don't want any more shit in our streets. So let's everybody get a horseless carriage, but nobody could afford one. Until Henry Ford came out in 1905 and said, aha, $5 a day. I will give my employees, so everyone can have an automobile, and the Model T began. And by 1902, which is even earlier, the League-of-American-Wheelmen membership shrunk on the very idea that the horseless carriage was coming. And that very same year, the American Automobile Association began, 1902, boom. So we're talking about 110 years ago, an entire culture was changed. Now I am arguably one of the oldest people in this room, I would guess. I was born in 1946, January 3rd, on the third day of the baby. I know baby boomers. I've marketed to baby boomers all my life. I know where they're going right now. And what I'm about to present to you is where the baby boom and their children are going. It's a cultural shift, paradigm shift. And Oceanside, California is most well positioned of any place in the world to begin that shift. And I'm prepared to show my qualifications for making that outrageous statement. And I chose to speak third because I thought that I would be engaged with the whole conversation, but I was marginalized out accidentally. It is my fault. It is not the Oceanside neighborhood association. I chose to be third. I should have gone first, and then everybody would have to answer my question. Okay. I don't think I really need I don't really think I need one of these.
That's not bad. That's a lot better.
My gentleman friend suggested that my amplitude had something to do with my professionalism. It's not the case. It's my passion. Okay? My profession, I am a consummate professional. I've been doing this since 1969, a long time ago. I've been leading companies and building industry. Building industries. The first industry I built was called videography. There are millions of people around the world who call themselves videographers because in 1972, I authored the term videography and built an industry in Hollywood. When that got saturated, I moved to Maui and became Cruiser Bob. And Cruiser Bob did the downhill bicycles on Haleakala. That industry created $250 million in revenue since 1982, and 2.5 million people have gone on the downhill. And thousands of people on Maui alone have gotten jobs. A little bit of time after I created the downhill on Maui, I got a call from the president of Mammoth Mountain, California. He said, what do you think if we take our ski lifts and expedite multi-modal the bicycles to the top of the mountain so that they can go downhill? I said, boy, that sounds very scary. That sounds like a lot of liability, but if you got the chops for that, go for it. Today, almost every ski resort in the world opens their lifts during the summer for mountain bikes to come down. Now what that created was a part-time resort, a winter resort, could now go year-round, keep their first responders in place, keep their highly professional people in place, and suddenly they're making money hand over fist, because they don't care whether it's snowing or whether it's sunny. And this created tens of thousands more jobs. So 2 industries that I created several million jobs in the world today. Now what I'm trying to tell you right now is what I'm going to present in the next few minutes is going to open up a quantum larger industry than both of those put together. And it originates here in Oceanside and on Maui, Hawaii. I represent both sides of the pond, as we call it. Okay, this is the core ingredient. Camera, see that? Everybody see this? This is a battery. This is a lithium-ion battery. It's one of the rare, custom designed for me, by me, for electric bicycles. Not just electric bicycles, electric tricycles. Anything that is a cycle. Tandems, pedi-cabs. A little old lady that wants to get to Ralph's down at the bottom of the hill, or Boney's, or all the markets that are on the other side of the freeway, but can't get over there now because you got 100 pounds of groceries when you're coming back, and who can get up Oceanside Boulevard right here? Try it. It's a 10% grade. I can do it. This bike right here is a mule. It'll carry 400 pounds up that Oceanside grade at 20 miles an hour.
That leaves me out.
No, you just hit the accelerator. But if you are a good bicyclist, you can go vast distances. I'm not even a good bicyclist. That guy over there, he's a good bicyclist. Okay? I mean, he can spin at 100 RPM. I spin at 70 RPM. Now, spinning, for those of you who don't understand spinning, see this crank here? That's the largest crank you'll ever see on a mountain bike. You may see them on bigger on road bikes, but it's the largest crank for a mountain bike because what this bike is really is an electric hybrid. You pedal and the electricity gives you the free 20 miles per hour, whether there's a hill there or a headwind or whatever. Ideally,
Get your point, we gotta wrap it up. It's in 5 minutes. Just explain what it is.
I'll stop it. Well, no, I won't stop it. If I take off the packs, if I wanted to tomorrow, I could take my significant other, if I had one, my baby, this could just as easily be a child, and the three of us could go to Santa Barbara from Oceanside easily by getting on Metrolink, getting off at Oxnard, and motoring to Santa Barbara. Cost 1 penny a mile. I can get on this bike and go to San Diego, 1 penny a mile, no problem, right now today, carrying big payload. Yes, ma'am?
But what if it rains?
What if it rains? It never rains in California. Kids, let me warn you. It pours. It's an old song.
I just wish,
I would also like to, in conclusion, add that this is a complete design system. It's been in design for 25 years. It was recently entered and is one of the only designs in the Michelin Design Challenge 2012. It is probably the only bicycle in that challenge. I made the last minute appeal to go in as a bicycle. They accepted me. Now it's very possible that I will win the Michelin, or at least be nominated for the Michelin Design World Challenge. There are 4 cities involved: Los Angeles, Paris, Cairo, and Buenos Aires. Los Angeles, we connect only in one spot, Oceanside Transit Center, Metrolink. The Oceanside Transit Center is key to the Southern California Metroplex. When you want to talk about multimodality, the human being and their bicycle can get on a train, or they can leave their bike behind and get to another station where they can pick up an identical bicycle and go on their way. That is multimodality. And I got $3.5 million for Maui under Ice-T from a multimodal bike path that I designed called the North Shore Greenway. You can check all this out.
I can put links.
Pardon me?
Since you put links to this on our notice, it's gonna go out in the next 2 days so that people can see this stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love you. I can tell you a million things. This has a bumper in the back, so the major cause of deaths among bicyclists are rear-end collisions, where they run over the bicyclist, like the guy in Lucadia the other day. This bumps you. You have a reasonable chance of survival. 1 man died in my arms, and it inspired this device. I built that. This is all custom. This bike was built in 1990, given to me by the Schwinn brothers. The Schwinn brothers said, do the best you can with it. It's been around the world once. All of these countries are countries I have visited on this bicycle without a motor. Now, as
How
an
much
old
would a bike
man,
like that cost?